everybody, it's Elizabeth from Elpis Astrology at elpisastrology.com. Thanks for joining me today. So this is going to be my take about the astrology for April 2026. I guess the main feature here in April is that Uranus will be finally going into Gemini permanently for a number of years towards the end of April. And I will be discussing that and the transits around that ingress of Uranus going into Gemini. I'm also going to cover a little bit of Cuba as a country, as well as their two main figureheads that are there as well, and the influence of both the full moon in Libra on the 1st of April, and then the new moon in Libra that will be, more sort of mid-month time period. So it's going to be Happy New Year, of course, to all my Aries. So that new moon will be in Aries. So Happy New Year to all my Aries clients, as well as subscribers and viewers. All right, so as I mentioned, we have the full moon that will be on the 1st of April at 7:12 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time at 12 degrees Libra, 21 minutes. And of course, because this is a full moon, we know the moon is going to be in Libra, but then the sun is going to be in Aries. So some of the aspects surrounding this beginning of April, there's some nice aspects, actually. I mean, we do have one square from Jupiter to both the moon and the sun, but that's a wide one. We do have Venus, that's at 2 degrees of Taurus, will be squaring, again, a little widely, Pluto that's in Aquarius. And I think that particular square is going to be highlighting a negative economic situation, potentially, where people in power are going to be seeing what's really going on with the financial situation. And in particular, I mean, we've already got it ongoing in a number of countries, but especially in Cuba. We have Pluto sextiling Saturn. I think that is beautiful too. So we have here, Pluto is power, and then the sextile is opportunities to perhaps work with other governments. So this could, in a general way, play out to be powerful people making opportunities to perhaps put structures together that are beneficial to both. And that Jupiter trining a now direct Mercury that is in Pisces really speaks to good news. So there may be some good news coming out here regarding some foreign countries, or maybe just a foreign country. Now, if we look at Cuba for this full moon in Libra, I think one of the things that, really stood out for me was the fact that Cuba, when you look at their chart, and you can see their chart here. So there's two charts that I'm using for Cuba. The original chart is 1902. And then, of course, the communist takeover was 1959. So I'm going to look at both charts. I'm using both because I looked at them and I said, wow, they're both significant. But interestingly, the 1902 chart is the most interesting one, especially with this April full moon and new moons. And so if we look here at the sun is at 28 degrees of Taurus in the 1902 natal chart of Cuba. Well, we know that Uranus is conjunct that. And it's conjunct that the last week of March 26 and the first week of April 2026. And so we know at that full moon in Libra that Uranus is conjuncting Cuba's original chart's sun. And of course, this suggests that those in power will be removed. And, there's different ways of them being removed. Maybe they will decide they want to go. Maybe they will be taken out. But they could also have other things happen where they're indisposed. But that was probably the biggest thing that stood out for me here. I mean, there's other things happening in the chart. I'm going to put a little bit more information about their natal chart in the text box below, but I just want to stick to the full moon and new moons and the effect potentially for them here. So that's the big one I saw. And of course, that's in the third house. And that sun, by the way, conjuncts the IC, which is the entrance to the fourth house of home. And in this case, you translate it into the homeland, which is Cuba. So big shakeup there. And then after Uranus does that, Uranus will be going on into the fourth house and staying there for a number of years for Cuba's 1902 chart. So that's really bringing an enormous amount of freedom to Cuba. And I thought that was positive. When we look at the two significant players in the political scene in Cuba, there is Raul Castro, who is Fidel Castro's brother. Now, he is retired from being a president, but he still exerts, from everything I'm reading, enormous amount of power over the economy and then any kind of military type stuff as well. Now, Raul was born the 3rd of June, 1931. And so, he is getting on in age. It's difficult to get any read on his health, except that one thing that I read a few years ago, he had a crisis of some sort with his health, but that was kind of it. There was nothing really discussing what it really was about. Now, the other person that's involved here is somebody called Miguel Diez-Canel, and he is the current president. But he's a little younger. He was born on the 20th of April, 1960. So when we look at both of their charts in relation to this full moon at the 1st of April, for Raul Castro, that full moon conjuncts his south nodes, which are in the second house of values. But the sun conjuncts his north nodes in his 8th house. So this is sort of a letting go of something with regards to value. Maybe it's value that he's giving to his country. He may let go of that. And aiming instead at maybe working behind the scenes a lot more. Now, that's, I think, just a given anyway. But it was pretty clear reading about even though he's retired, he's very much involved actively in dictating things. At this time, that transiting sun will sextile his own sun, and that involves his 10th house. So there may be opportunities for him to make changes in his career. The moon will trine his sun. So this is kind of a positive setup for change in his career. Now, the transiting south nodes in the universe will conjunct his ascendant and square his midheaven and sun widely. So I got kind of this theme of letting go, and especially with the transiting south nodes conjunct his ascendant and square his midheaven, he may be encouraged to let things go at this full moon. Now, when we look at Diez-Canel, who's the president of Cuba presently, that full moon has the transiting sun conjunct his Venus in the 9th house. Transiting Saturn is conjunct his Mercury. Transiting Mars will be conjunct his south node. So we're bringing south nodes in for him too here. And then transiting Mercury will conjunct his natal Mars. Transiting Neptune will trine his ascendant, so some inspiration may be here, but that transiting Neptune will also square Jupiter. And transiting Venus will conjunct widely his sun in the 10th house. And so I think the setup for Miguel Diez-Canel, the president, suggests to me that he's going to probably get some harsh news. That's that Saturn conjunct his Mercury, where he's going to have to pay attention to it and do something with it. He's also going to be given encouragement with Mars, transiting Mars conjunct his south node, to let go of something as well. And with transiting Mercury conjunct his natal Mars, he may get something literally written or a communication saying, you need to let this go. But, he's got that beautiful trine with Neptune, which suggests that he may be inspired, to do what he needs to do here, and that it may benefit him. He may even inspire his people. But the square to Jupiter, to his Jupiter, is going to suggest that there's some differences with regards to the philosophies, and the philosophies we may be talking about is communism versus democracy. So when we look at the 9th of April, we're looking at Mercury is completely out of shadow at 22 degrees of Pisces. And so let's just say for Pisces, if you are a Pisces and you've got something around 22 degrees of Pisces, maybe your ascendant or your sun, this could certainly suggest that any frustrations you may have had regarding communications, even regarding a writing project, could be cleared up around this 9th of April. So let's go on to that new moon in Aries. So Happy New Year to all my Aries ascendants as well as suns. That's going to be on the 17th of April at 4:51 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time at 27 degrees of Aries and 28 minutes. And along with that new moon, which of course has the sun there as well, there are 7 planets and an asteroid in Aries. Wow. What a big lineup for movement forward just by looking at that, right? Now, the ruler, of course, of Aries is Mars. And so we say, well, where is Mars? Well, Mars right now is going to be conjunct Mercury. Let me just take a quick look at the chart for the new moon here. I've got all my charts here in front of me as well. Yeah, so Mars is at 5 degrees of Aries at this time, and it is kind of widely conjunct within a few degrees of both Saturn and Mercury that's on either side of it at this new moon. So it is exerting a lot of influence here with regards to, let's maybe make some changes with regards to some governments. That would be the Saturn, or structures. And then the Mercury part of it is suggesting that very fast news. So fast news, that could be something, say, through an email, through a text message, through a phone call. This could even be stretched out to, say, news itself is going to be fast moving at this new moon in Aries on the 17th of April. We have Mars that's going to be sextiling Pluto too, so this is opportunities to make changes, to transform. Uranus will be conjuncting Venus, so there may be, again, I'm going to go back to financial stuff here and say that there could be some big changes, unexpected changes regarding finances just on the world stage. Now, what's interesting is that we have a Yod going on at this new moon in Aries. And so the Yod at the bottom of this Yod has Pluto at 5 degrees of Aquarius. And then the other one has both Mars and Saturn at 5 and 7 degrees Aries, respectively. And it's pointing to the South Node, which at this time is at 7 degrees of Virgo. Now, I know this is a new moon and it suggests a new start. This, to me, though, says that there is definitely going to be a very powerful change here. And the change is probably going to be in regime change. I know the last couple of videos I seem to be talking about regime change, but I saw this as well. And the reasons for that is because the change comes through Pluto. And then Saturn, of course, is the a regime, government regime. And then with the Mars part of it, it's saying it's got to go. We got to move this. And then pointing at South Node, this has to go. And interestingly, this Yod does point to the 1959 Cuba chart, and that would be the natal Pluto, which is in the 5th house. So for Cuba, as it is presently with the communist regime, this suggests that there's going to be some big change going on with that. Transformational change, right, with the Pluto in their natal chart being activated. So certainly I would say that this new moon really promotes a lot of new starts and, doing it my way. Aries likes to do it their way, and being given opportunities to move forward with whatever it is that you need to. You're going to be supported in that way. But there could be some warmongering going on here at this new moon as well. Let's go back to Cuba's charts, again, I've already discussed the main influence here is in the 1959 chart of Cuba for the new moon. But if we look at the 1902 chart, we have that transiting Uranus still conjunct that sun as well as the IC, which is the beginning of the fourth house. Interestingly, the transiting north nodes that are around 7 degrees of Pisces will be forming a very favorable trine with Cuba's 1902 natal charts. Own north nodes, which are at 4 Scorpio, and the moon, the natal moon, which would be at 3 Scorpio, and that is in the 9th house. And we talked about the 9th house, being foreign people, foreign things, foreign lands. And so there's a connection here with this moon, transiting moon, and the actual natal moons of Cuba's 1902 chart, indicating that there's something up here with another land helping potentially influence positively the people, because that's the moon that we're talking about. But then that moon, the natal moon, is coupled with those north nodes. So it's saying the destiny of the people. Very positive. So this also is suggesting that there's a new potential here for Cuba, the Cuban people, Cuba as a country. But there's going to be some upsets and freedom-seeking type activity going on here. But it's a new moon. And in Aries, it really suggests that, especially at this new moon, there could be real movement forward for regime change in Cuba and for the people being freed. Now, it may not all happen in April. It may happen at a later time in terms of this is it, we've finally done it. But this new moon really has a big support with that Aries to just push forward. Yeah, I mean, that sun and moon, both in Aries, will be conjunct that 1959 charts of Cuba's ascendant, which is at 25 degrees of Aries. So it does suggest here a new start for Cuba, as it is now as a communist regime. Now, when we look at Raul Castro, and then I'll follow up with Diez-Canel, this new moon widely squares Castro's Saturn. The Venus, though, nicely trines his natal moon and Saturn. And then transiting Venus is also affected in that respect as well, and it affects the 9th house. And the 9th house, of course, is foreign people and foreign things. It's travel, too. I see this here as maybe some positive things happening with a foreign nation. That nation may be the US of A. Transiting Jupiter at this time will be conjuncting Raul's Pluto in the 7th house. So this could be some, or 11th house rather. Yeah, so this could actually be, promoting something with regards to, he may try to exert some power, right? So the Jupiter influence on the Pluto could say, I've got to exert my power here. The transiting south nodes will be at approximately 7-8 of Virgo, but they will be in his 12th house. And they'll be widely conjunct his Neptune, which is in the 12th house. And so I'm thinking he may have some health-related matter happen here where he has to be maybe hospitalized for some reason or has to stay behind the scenes. But I got this as a health-related issue. And it may even be related to, with Neptune, his Neptune being activated, related to maybe some immune type of situation that he has. Now, that transiting south node for Castro officially conjuncts his Neptune early June, which is when his birthday is in 2026. So it's all about him letting go, is what I get with this, with that transiting south node in Virgo conjunct his Neptune at the new moon, but exactly towards his birthday in June as well. Letting go is what it's saying. Now, Miguel Diez-Canel at that new moon has that sun and moon in his 10th house. So that's going to be all lit up. New start for him with regards to his career. Well, his career right now is a president of Cuba, but there's some new start here for him in his career. Now, transiting Mars will be conjunct Mercury in his 9th house. So that may be some aggressive news, assertive news from a foreign power, 9th house. Transiting Uranus at this time will square his natal moon, which is in Aquarius in his 8th house. So this could bring some upsets to him, where he will just be upset, the Uranus part suddenly upsetting him. And then transiting Mercury as well as Neptune will nicely, though, trine his Leo ascendant. So he's going to be given opportunities here to make this change in his career, which he's not going to want to because it's a square. He doesn't want to do it. But that transiting Mercury and Neptune together, trining his ascendant, is giving him some inspiration to actually make the changes that he may need to make here, and at least being conciliatory and diplomatic. So I see him more in that vein in all of April, to be honest, whereas Castro, I feel, digging his heels in as opposed to doing anything really diplomatic, and then maybe going on to have health problems. I will leave it at that. So the next big thing that we have happening in April, yes, there's more. We have Uranus finally going into Gemini at 0 degrees of Gemini, and this is called an ingress. It's going to be on the 25th of April at about 6:32 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And what's interesting, the moon at this time will be at 0 degrees of Virgo, widely conjunct the south nodes. So I also got this impression of, although Uranus going into Gemini is going to be very exciting and really speed up many things for us, especially communications or the way we communicate, the south node involvement here with the moon puts a little bit of a damper on it, because it also suggests you're going to have to let something go. Uranus at this time will be conjunct Venus. Saturn will be conjunct Mars. And Mars will be widely conjunct Mercury. And Chiron will widely conjunct the Sun at this time, which is going to be in Taurus. The Sun trines the south nodes, but sextiles the north nodes. And the bit of a fly in the ointment is that Sun at this Uranus ingress into Gemini will square Pluto. But nicely, Pluto does sextile Neptune. So it's like there's a little bit of a balance there. But that Sun square Pluto at this ingress of Uranus going into Gemini really says there's going to be some big butting of heads here. And I would say also big power plays. It could also mean, that Sun on the global stage could represent a figure in politics. And the square suggests that there will be some transformation, but it's not going to be easy. At this time, I'm just going to look at both Castro and Canel's chart again. At this time of this Uranus going into Gemini, Castro has that transiting moon conjunct his Neptune in the 12th house. And so again, this kind of emphasizes potentially something happening behind the scenes to him. Maybe this is going to be a very spiritual thing for him. I mean, Neptune can represent that as well. But it can also be that transiting moon could also, represent the people in his chart as well. And conjunct his Neptune, they may need some inspiration here. But as it applies to him, there could be some things that he has to reckon himself with. Being in the 12th house, he may have to look at some of the things that may be holding him back. Now, Diez-Canel has the transiting Saturn conjunct his Mercury. That transiting moon will trine his Sun in the 10th house. So this is opportunities for him to maybe move into that new career that he's been being suggested to do. He will have transiting Jupiter conjunct his Pluto in the 6th house. So this suggests to me that he may widen or expand transformational things for what he does in his day-to-day life, which generally speaking, of course, is to look after the people or attend to things regarding Cuba and the people. So he may be encouraged to do that. Now, that transiting Jupiter could also represent foreign people, foreign things, and in this case, it could be foreign political groups, maybe the USA, and conjunct that Pluto. It's strongly suggesting you need to transform this, what you do day to day for your people. Now, in the USA chart, that transiting Mars is going to be opposite USA's natal Saturn, and that's going to be in the 10th house. So this also suggests some assertive encouragement and movement forward with regarding changing some structures. Usually that would be the government of the USA at this time. So there may be a shift in the USA government as well. And Pluto, transiting Pluto, will be opposite the north nodes of the USA and involve the 8th house. Transiting Pluto will be conjuncting the south nodes. So again, we've got this theme of letting go. And Pluto is a very strong energy. It does suggest transformation, but there's lots of ways to transform, right? It's about transforming what we need to let go of in the USA. There's going to be some powerful opposition to get change happening. So when we take a peek at May 2026, we have Pluto that will be going retrograde at about 5 degrees of Aquarius. We also have a full moon in Scorpio right at the beginning of May, followed by a new moon in Taurus, and then followed by another full moon that will be in Sagittarius. So we've got 2 full moons in May. All right, let's go on to the individual sun signs and or ascendants you pick. I suggest that you, first of all, either watch or listen to your ascendant. And if you've not got your own chart, you can just go on astro.com and generate a chart for free. Then go on to look at your sun sign, where it will add a little bit more context to what area of your life was picked out by your ascendant, video and or audio, depending where you are listening or watching me. All right, so we're going to start off with Aries. And Aries, Happy New Year to you. That full moon in Libra will be the first thing that happens for you, and that will be involving your 7th house. So we're really looking here at potentially your partner having some maybe diplomatic type activity going on. This is Libra after all, or they may just have this ongoing type of activity where they have to balance things out all the time, or take other people's considerations of what they want to do into account. So you may be looking at your partner doing this. Now, the other thing that this can set up, especially if we look at the law potentially being involved in Libra activities, there could be some Aries that are setting up their own business, and you're putting together like the legal articles all around that during this time, or you start that on the 1st of April at this full moon, and you're seeing how you can wrap it up. Maybe you put all the partners in place, and now it's a matter of putting the paperwork in place. Now you're going to have Mercury trine Jupiter, but then, Jupiter does square your sign. So Jupiter is in Cancer right now, as of this month of April. Now, it's hard to get a bad aspect with Jupiter. So this could just be really some good luck comes in for you with regards to maybe putting this paperwork together, or communications of some sort, maybe dealing with other people, maybe even dealing with some legal stuff. And it doesn't have to be like there's this big case against you. Maybe you're just putting together your will or something like that. And this is part of the communications of getting it put together and finalizing it. I mean, Saturn and Neptune in Aries in your sign will be, widely conjunct. And so this is also about saying, hey, how about those dreams coming true? Can you put together something that may help them come true here? Your ruler Mars at this full moon will still be in Pisces at this time. And so Pisces is in your 12th house. So there may be some, maybe some activity going on behind the scenes at this full moon as well for you, where maybe you've got to take into consideration something else, maybe it's some other government organization that you've got to actively get involved with, because that's a very hidden house as well, or a hidden institution in the hidden house of the 12th house. When we look at that new moon, well, it's all about you, right? So the new moon is in your first house and really does encourage you to have a new start here. Now, to have a direct effect of this, you would really have to have something, say, around 27, 28 degrees of Aries. So we'll take 26, 27, and 28 degrees of Aries if you've got your sun or your ascendant, or maybe even both around that degree. This really suggests you've got a whole new start to the year. Yeah, and I mean, we've got at that new moon, we're going to have a lot of Aries being activated. So I would say, just generally speaking, Aries, you can expect to have a lot of comings and goings, probably a lot of communications, and maybe a lot of people demanding your time and energy. That's what I really got from all the activity that's going to be in your sign, Aries, at this new moon. And, hey, it could all be super positive. It doesn't have to be negative. Let me just go through some of them. We talked about Mars now in Aries conjunct Saturn. Well, that's just positively being able to move forward with putting new structure in your life of some sort, or building on some structure. You could be literally building something like a home. We're also going to have Mercury that is going to be conjuncting that Mars too. So this is the go-ahead, you being given the message that you can move forward. And Chiron at this time will be conjuncting the moon and the sun too. And Pluto will be sextiling Mars, your ruler. So really overall, although this may be very active, and in some cases for some areas it may be too active for you, generally speaking, if you've been waiting for things to move forward, ready, set, go, this new moon could be it for sure. Because you've got Mars, your ruler, positively influencing, putting structures together, moving forward with getting the news or the go-ahead to move forward. And then Pluto provides an opportunity for you with a sextile to move forward too, to take action. Yeah. Taking action is going to be a big, I think, potential sentence that you may be using around that new moon in Aries. Take care, Aries. So Taurus, that full moon in Libra falls in your 6th house. This is wrapping up something to do with maybe a job. Maybe you've decided to leave a job that you've not found is working out for you anymore. Maybe this is a wrap up with regards to something regarding your health. Maybe you've had to walk a fine line up to now regarding some health matter. And there's a big wrap up here around the 1st of April for you. Now this is in Libra, so it does suggest harmony. It suggests diplomacy and balance for sure, right? But it can also represent legal matters. So there's going to be some Taurians that are wrapping up a legal matter. And maybe some of this is going to be associated with a job that you're doing. Maybe you're getting a payout of some sort because your department's shutting down, and this is the final where they say, here, we're going to be giving you something, sign on the dotted line here, but your department is closed now, or it's changed, right? Or like I said, it could just be a wrap up of some legal matter that you've been going through. Or maybe it's just something very simple that you finally put your will in place and it's signed, sealed, and delivered too. When we look at that new moon that is in Aries, that is going to be in your 12th house. And we always talk about the 12th house being the hidden house, but it is also the house of, rest. Now, the thing is, with that new moon in Aries, there's so much going on in your 12th house. It still could be very active. You may be craving rest at this time. So if you're listening to this in advance and you know you've been working too hard, maybe carve out some days at the very least in April around this new moon that is going to be very active behind the scenes to take some rest for yourself. But it could also be a time when you activate your metaphysical life here. Maybe you're going to take up yoga. Maybe you're going to get certified for yoga. That would be awesome too. It could also mean that you may be taking up some kind of activity with regards to maybe a government type of situation or institution where there's initiation of activity, but you have to keep it behind the scenes. This could indicate maybe something that has to be kept under wraps or secret at this time. But it is a new start. So I'm thinking, generally speaking, you could decide to leave a job, or for whatever reason your department's closing down and you're getting some payout of some sort at that full moon. And then you get this new job, but the new job involves you working behind the scenes, working in a government office, working potentially in something like a hospital. Now, Uranus is officially out of your sign on the 25th of April, Taurus. Yahoo! And it's going to be going into your second house. So, this could work out where you surprisingly get some much more money in a new job that you've applied for. Uranus can go either way. It can bring in surprises, unexpected things, so it could be unexpected money comes your way. Now, you could, of course, have some kind of unexpected communication regarding an unexpected expense. Yes, that could happen too. But the biggest thing that you've got for the month of April, Taurus, is that you've got your ruler Venus in your sign all month. And I always describe a Venus as an attractor, right? It likes to attract things in. So if you're listening to this in advance, Taurus, ask yourself, what do you want to attract in? Do you want to attract in love, money, greater value of yourself, or all three of those things? Might be a good time to put a vision board together, or at least to maybe review what it is that you really want to attract in to benefit you. Take care, Taurus. So, Gemini, that full moon that is in Libra, well, it forms a trine with you. That's really super favorable energy. And it involves your fifth house. So there's going to be some of those Geminis who actually have a new love come into their life. Other Geminis that may have a child come into their life. Or children are favorably featured for you at this time. Still others may have some fabulous creative project come their way. Overall, though, Gemini, you're going to have some really wonderful opportunities just to have fun with others. So take advantage of that. Of course, the big news for you is on the 25th of April, you will have Uranus ingressing or going into your sign at 0 degrees. And so what is this going to do? Well, this is going to wake you up. It's going to shake you up. It's going to help you break free, maybe break free from things that have been holding you back your whole life. So it could bring in a very positive influence. It's generally speaking a once-in-a-lifetime thing. So it'll be rare Geminis that would have this repeating again in their lives. So if you need change, if you need to break free, you officially start that process on the 25th of April. Now, what's interesting is that Uranus in your sign, Gemini, trines transformational Pluto. Yeah. So in this year, 2026, Uranus does get up to 5 degrees of Gemini and will be trining Pluto. Now, it'll trine Pluto more than once, but wow, trines are very positive. So it's like whatever change or surprise comes in, with that trine, it says it's absolutely positive for you in terms of your transformation. Yeah, and I'm just going to say that be prepared for some absolutely positive change in your life, not only in the future, but in this year as well. Especially if you've got something around that 5-degree mark of Gemini, where Uranus will get into in 2026. When we look at that new moon in Aries, well, that forms a sextile with you, Gemini, and it involves your 11th house. So this is just straight off new opportunities to meet new friends. And with all the activity in your 11th house, so we've got about 7 other entities, planets included, that'll be in Aries at that new moon in Aries, you're going to have a lot of activities going on around that 17th of April with friends and with groups that you belong to. So this would be an ideal opportunity to join that group that you want to join. It could also give you opportunities to be a leader of that group as well, because this is Aries, right? Aries are leaders. Hopes, dreams, and wishes are also part of that 11th house, Gemini. So you may also see an opportunity here to make some of your hopes, dreams, and wishes come true as well at that new moon. Especially if you've got something, around that 27 degrees of Aries yourself. Now, when we look at both the south nodes and the north nodes that are in Virgo and Pisces respectively, both Virgo and Pisces squares your sign. And especially if you've got something around the 7 or 8 degree mark of Gemini, you will have the north nodes and south nodes squaring that. And so this is like a little fly in the ointment potentially, where you want to get into that new destiny. You see your freedom in front of you. All these new friends are pouring in. You're being asked to join groups. All this type of thing is all positive. But you're finding it maybe, I'm thinking you may find it a little challenging to incorporate all this newness, including maybe freedom for the first time in your life, all into a destiny path for yourself. It doesn't mean it won't happen. It just might, you may have some hesitancy here as well in terms of your destiny path. But all these things pass. Overall, you've got a great setup here, Gemini, in April. So enjoy. Bye for now. So Cancer, both of these moons do square your sign, but hey, who cares, right? You still have Jupiter in your sign till the end of June. So it's whatever does provide challenges for you, Cancer, in April. You've got this gigantic cushion called Jupiter in your sign to catch you or ease anything that may be challenging to you. Now, the first one, the full moon in Libra, it affects your 4th house by square. And so, there just may be some little bit of things going on with your family that you've got to, address. And that may be what's up around the 1st of April. That there's challenges around it. Now, this could be, almost anything. 4th house, it could be your mother. Your mother actually has a challenge. And because you're the eldest, or maybe the only child, you're tasked with sorting out whatever the challenge is with your mother. Maybe your mother has to sign some legal papers over to you where you have to, maybe she's getting older and she needs help with regards to either her activities of daily living or literally balancing a checkbook and paying bills. That could be very part of this full moon in Libra, where maybe you have to set some legal things in place to handle that. And maybe there's another family member that needs help in this way, where you need to help balance things out for them. Maybe there's just straight off some diplomacy that has to be encouraged in the family, and you're tasked with presenting that and encouraging that type of energy within the family. Now, this could literally affect your home. Maybe there's some legal things going on with regards to your home that you've got to deal with. Maybe a contractor hasn't done something right and you have to get a lawyer to get it sorted out. That could be going on here too. None of this sort of stuff that you have to do in that regard is pleasant, but that could be something you have to do as well, where it's literally related to a home or a physical home, right? Now that new moon is going to square your 10th house, so that's on the 17th. Now, what's interesting about that is it means that your 10th house has huge amounts of activity going on in it as well. So I'm thinking that for most Cancers, you're just going to have too much to do in your career. Too much going on, too many demands, too many people, too many messages, too many communications to answer. And then that's the challenge. You don't have enough time to do everything you have to do. So if you're listening to this in advance, maybe you need to plan for that. Maybe you need to talk to your boss and say, look, if this really, all this stuff that I'm doing really speeds up, can I have your permission to maybe either contract with another person to help you out or be able to reach out to other people to help you out? Because it's going to be a busy time in your career. And there's going to be some challenges there. And I think the main challenge is going to be there's going to be too much for you to do. It doesn't mean it can't all turn out, right? And with the Aries part of it, it really says that leadership is going to be very much a theme expected of you. And so that's the other thing. If you foresee you maybe moving into a leadership position, maybe ask yourself, am I ready for that? Or do I need to take a few courses or mentor with somebody that will ease me into that and make it easier for me? That's the other thing that could be going on here too. Regarding the north nodes that are in Pisces, well, it's in a fellow water sign like you, Cancer. And so you could have some, especially if you've got something around like 7-8 degrees of Pisces and or Cancer in your chart, like say you've got your sun or your ascendant at 7-8 degrees of Cancer, you're going to have a beautiful trine formed here with those north nodes of destiny. And so this suggests that, you may have some really encouraging opportunities here to get on your destiny path. Now let me just look up here. I'm just going to look up for you the house that falls in for you, Cancer. Yeah, it's your 9th house. So at the very least, well, there may be some Cancers that are offered an opportunity with their destiny to move overseas, to travel overseas. Or maybe just a nice opportunity for you to take some travel and vacation here overseas. And an opportunity just pops up for you to do that. That's something to look forward to, Cancer. Enjoy that Cancer, that Jupiter Cancer in your sign till the end of June. Bye for now, Cancer. So Leo, this is a nice setup for you here in April. Yeah, I mean, Aries for sure is a fellow fire sign like you, Leo. And so you've got a lot of Aries trining you, your ascendant and or your sun. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So when we look at that first full moon on the 1st of April, that's going to be in Libra, that sextiles your sign and involves your 3rd house. This says there's some wrap up with regards to some communications. So there's going to be some Leos that have maybe been writing, either writing up a proposal or writing up maybe a final report for work that they've been doing, or just writing. Maybe you are a writer, Leo, and you finish off, you put that last sentence in on a writing project, and you're wanting to get it published, right? Communications of all sort are going to be wrapped up here, right? And there could be an involvement of neighbors as well as siblings, where maybe you've been communicating back and forth and you're finally getting into agreement over something, right? Now, when we look at that new moon in Aries, like I said, Aries trines you, Leo, and involves your 9th house. So there's huge activity here. There's going to be some Leos that are really getting involved with some kind of overseas or foreign land or foreign people. And that's going to be really lit up around the 17th of April for you. Now, it is a new moon, right? So it does suggest a new start here. Now, the other thing it could set up is legal matters are very much handled by the ninth house too. But this is a trine. So you're going to be feeling good if it's something to do with a legal matter. There's a new start here with regards to maybe some movement forward with some legal matter. Now, this can also represent publishing for you, Leo. So whatever, maybe on the 1st of April that you actually finished off the writing for, you can have it published here. Now we come up to the new moon, because the ninth house is also that. There's going to be still other Leos that are maybe wanting to start a advanced degree, and you get the green light at this time. All right. So you've got an eclipse to look forward to on the 12th of August. You've got Venus going into your sign, sort of July time period. So there's a lot of good things coming your way. I think this is just the start of maybe your eyes opening up a bit, Leo, here to see some bright spots in your future. Take care, Leo. So Virgo, you still have or are entertaining the south nodes in your sign, of course. And for those Virgos that do have, say, either their north nodes or their south nodes in Virgo, this is kind of like a readjustment time, as well as, those nodes will make their way out towards the end of July and go into 2 other signs and leave your sign. So you're at the tail end of certainly the south nodes being in your sign, all about sort of encouraging you to let go of things. So the full moon in Libra is in your 2nd house. The full moon suggests that you may be wrapping up, maybe a job. The income that you have coming in ends at this time. And maybe it's going to end by choice. Maybe you're going to decide you'd like to get a new job here. But it could also bring in, maybe you're one of those Leos who has more than one job, and you decide to stop one of the jobs because it's just too much for you to do. That could be indicated here around the 1st of April as well. That is in Libra, so it could also indicate maybe you've had some legal reason where you've had to use some of your money in some way to pay something out, and it ends. Maybe you've made an arrangement for a credit card, say for instance, to pay it off, and you see the end of that payoff on the 1st of April at this full moon. I mean, that full moon can also, there may be some Virgos that are involved in diplomatic relations. That's very Libra-like. And this could be a wrap-up for you, where the value that you've been given them to this diplomatic type, harmonious producing energy for something is wrapped up. Now we look at that new moon that is in Aries, that's in your 8th house. So straight off, this says to me that you're probably going to be doing some new investing at this time. There will be still others that maybe take on, say, a new mortgage. Mortgages are very much covered by the 8th house too. But investments and shared resources are the main types of thing we talk about when we talk about the 8th house. This could also be a new start for some folks from a psychological standpoint. The 8th house is also our inner workings of our mind. And maybe you are getting this change of the way you look at things, and you decide, you know what, I need to put more energy into leading as opposed to waiting for other people to do things. I need to take charge. That's very Aries-like, right? Certainly this 8th house of yours is going to be very lit up with all the different planets and entities that will be in that 8th house. So yeah, there's going to be just lots of activity, maybe lots of demands for some of your savings. So that may be another activity that may happen where, there's going to be maybe a lot of credit cards that have to be paid off at this time, and you're just busy at writing the checks, that sort of thing. But it could bring in a whole new start with regards to maybe your investments being highlighted here in a very positive way. Maybe you'll get a lot of insight from perhaps a financial advisor that says, hey, I think you should be investing. This is a good investment for you. Now, Venus will be in Taurus all of April. Well, that trines your sign because you're both earth signs. And that involves your 9th house. So that's beautiful. Again, we're looking at here your 9th house being highlighted, which means foreign people, foreign things, advanced degrees. Legal matters could work out really well, especially from the financial standpoint. If we look at Venus from a money standpoint, this could be off the charts, awesome for you, Virgo, where that Venus is beaming positive energy regarding a legal matter that involves money. You're favored for that, for sure. Mercury is out of shadow at this time, and of course Mercury was having a retrograde in your opposite sign of Pisces, and that happens around the 9th of April. That is at 22 degrees. It is out of shadow, but that features your 7th house. So there may be some clear up for your partner regarding maybe some mysterious, because, Pisces can be the mysterious area of life, or it can also say confusing matters that your partner's been going through somehow regarding communications of some sort with somebody, some other. You can see it clears up. It's starting to clear up around that 9th of April. But it could also just be you if you're working with other people, especially from a standpoint of being partnership type things. This could all get cleared up for you once this Mercury comes out of shadow, especially if you've got something, say, around that 22 degree mark of either Pisces or your sign, Virgo. So it's kind of a money month for you in some way or another, Virgo. Take care, and bye for now. So Libra, that full moon in Libra, well, that's your sign, so it's your first house. So something's up for you with regards to either a big illumination. I mean, think about that full moon being really big and us looking at it. So it could be that something is illuminated in your chart, and it could be something Libra related. It could be a legal matter. It could be diplomatic relations if you are, working in that area, or some kind of harmonious things could all be highlighted at this time. But it can also mean that something ends at this time. More than likely, something will end. And just generally speaking, it could be a legal matter or some kind of diplomatic energy that you've been putting in to really get something worked out, finally gets wrapped up around that 1st of April. When we look at that new moon in Aries, well, that is in your opposite sign, Libra, and features your 7th house. And let me just tell you that 7th house is going to be extremely active for you because there's so many planets that are going to be in Aries at that time of the new moon. Now, it does emphasize something new. Certainly for some Librans, this could be you literally seeing a marriage partner come into view at this time. You may even have a marriage happening at this time, an engagement happening at this time, featuring your partner. A whole new start in partnerships is really highlighted here for me when I look at this. And if you're putting together some kind of business partnership, this is very much favored here as well. Because you're going to have Mercury, you're going to have Mars, you're going to have Saturn, you're going to have Neptune, all in Aries in that 7th house. So it's providing action, structure, inspiration. All that's happening in your 7th house. Now, you could have a partner providing this for you too, where you really feel supported at this time, at the new moon itself. Yeah, I really like that. The support seems really, really good for you with regards to whether it's a marriage partnership, a business partnership. You may also start getting real busy with clients. They could be all coming in here, demanding your time and energy as well. Now, Pluto will get to around 5 degrees or so of Aquarius, and that's going to be trining you, Libra. So certainly if you have anything that's around 5 degrees in Libra, this encourages positive transformation, right, with the Pluto part of it. So that's super positive for those Libran ascendants at 5 degrees or your sun is at 5 degrees in April. All right, take care of yourself, Libra. So Scorpio, that full moon in Libra falls in your 12th house. And so this suggests that there may be some big spotlight put on something in that 12th house. The 12th house is a hidden house. It's hidden places like hospitals, ashrams, government offices, prisons. It's also the metaphysical house, so it's kind of spiritual as well. It's also the house of rest. And so I'm just thinking that maybe you've been working really hard, Scorpio, and you feel that you can actually sit back now and take a rest. That was the big message I got here, was you're actually able to take a rest. But there could be some Scorpios that decide, I want better balance in my life. I want better harmony in my life. And you decide to take up something like meditation. You might take up yoga. You may even get certified for that. And certainly if we put the legal aspects of Libra into the equation, you could get legally certified to do something with regards to maybe a metaphysical type thing. Maybe it's astrology. Maybe it is getting certified for yoga. Maybe it's some kind of shamanic type thing as well. All these could be up for you too. But I think the big thing that I got with this full moon is you seeking harmony, rest, and a balance in your life. Now that new moon in Aries is going to be in your 6th house. This straight off says to me, you're going to be really busy at work. There are so many planets in Aries in your 6th house at that new moon. You could be starting all sorts of new projects at work at this time. You could be starting a new job too. And if you are, congratulations, but this is going to be a busy time for you. And very, very positive, because Scorpio, you have Mercury, Mars, Saturn, Neptune, all in Aries in that 6th house. And I see all those planets providing a lot of support for you, like putting new structures in place, inspiring people at work, putting together good communications as well. This can also feature you, taking care of your health. And I saw this more of you taking action regarding your health. So this would be you deciding to put together some kind of workout plan for yourself, for exercise, put together a nutritional plan, maybe even put together a mental health plan for yourself where you take better care of your mental health. Any of those activities or all of them, Scorpio, would be off the charts fantastic for you to do. Now, you have the north nodes that are in Pisces, is in a fellow water sign like you, trining you. So if by chance you have something around 7 or 8 degrees of Scorpio, whether it's your ascendant or your sun, those north nodes are going to be positively beaming energy at you for your destiny path. Super positive for you, Scorpio. And of course, Jupiter is in another fellow water sign of Cancer. And so that's going to be around the 15 degree mark and above. It'll go up to 29 degrees towards the end of June this year. And so that's also trining you, providing just really beneficial energy. This could come in the form of a person, an advisor, but that's also a positive energy being given to you too, right? Take care, Scorpio. So Sagittarius. That full moon in Libra forms a sextile with you and involves the 11th house. So there's going to be some Sagittarians that they decide to change their friendships, that they decide they don't want to associate with certain friends anymore. Maybe these certain friends are not giving you the balance and harmony that you need in your life. Maybe they're too demanding. So you may let go of some of those folks as well. But you could also have opportunities here to let go of any groups that you belong to that maybe aren't working out for you. At the very least, this full moon is going to bring some illumination regarding your friends, right? Or regarding the groups that you belong to. Because that's really what's covered here in that 11th house. The other thing is it's your hopes, dreams, and wishes, Sagittarius. So this could be the wrap-up where you see something actually happening. Boom! One of your hopes, dreams, or wishes comes true around that 1st of April at this full moon in Libra. Now, excitingly, that new moon in Aries, well, it forms a trine with you because you're both fire signs. and it aspects your 5th house. Oh my goodness. So for those Sagittarians that are waiting or have been waiting anxiously for some new true love coming in their life, this is the time when it could come in spades, maybe even more than one person. Because that 5th house of yours being ruled by Aries is going to be packed with other planets, really increasing the activity regarding a new love or true love. But it can also increase in activity with regarding creative projects coming your way favorably. Children could be favorably aspected at this time if you have them already. If you don't, this could see some Sagittarians actually getting pregnant and or giving birth. It could be either, because the 5th house, generally speaking, does support children or features children at this time. Yeah, so you're going to have Mercury, Mars, Saturn, and Neptune all in that 5th house being activated by a new start. Super exciting for you, Sagittarius. And you know, that effect, certainly of Saturn and Neptune trining you, Sagittarius, is going to go on for a few years. Now, Saturn will leave Aries in a couple years, but Neptune's going to be staying in there for, wow, a long time, a good 10 years after that, really beaming inspiration your way, again, from that 5th house. So this could long-term be looking at some kind of creative projects that you're doing. Maybe the types of things that you're going to start developing, your Sagittarius, are creative pieces of art, for instance. And that becomes a long-term project, giving you great inspiration for many years to come. But it is a trine, so that's super positive for you. No question of it. Take care, Sagittarius. So Capricorn, that full moon and new moon does form a square, and therefore some challenges. When we start off with that full moon in Libra, the square comes to your 10th house of career. Yeah, so I mean, this could just be a big illumination to your career. And it could be something like some Capricorns looking at their career and saying, there's just too much effort I've got to put in here, and I'm just not willing to do it. I want to change my career. And that may be a mental thing that happens or comes to light for you at the beginning of April. And it sets in motion, okay, how can I change this? And then the challenge is going to be, how do I change this? And, you know, I think the change, because it's in Libra, it really says to me, you maybe need to get better balance, like work-life balance you're seeing is out of whack, and you have to take some action here to make things more balanced in your life. Now, there could also be some aspects of a legal matter coming in here for some reason that challenges you, that you need to take care of as well. But overall, I saw this as work-life balance type thing this month, Capricorn. So seek that out and seek out solutions for that, and I think you're going to be fine. When we look at that new moon in Aries, now we're just looking at challenges, squares to your 4th house of family, your literal home, and your mother. So there could be something up with those things. It has nothing to do with you directly. Maybe your mother's going through some challenge that you have to step in and help with. Maybe there's a family member that you need to help out here too, and it's a bit of a challenge to do it. Yeah, I'm thinking that the other thing that could be happening too is there's something new happening in your home, right? Because this is a new moon in Aries with a ton of planets in that 4th house. So it does suggest a lot of activity, a lot of communications, a lot of movement in your 4th house. So it could be that there's a lot of stuff happening with your family, and some of it's challenging to you, or you have to get involved in solving some issues here. But it is a new start as well. I'm thinking that the other thing that I was thinking was that, you know, maybe a family member is in a challenging situation and you're going to offer to help them out with, maybe they can move into your home, and you've not only got to sort out your home, right? That could be a challenge, figuring out where am I going to put this person, but then also, you know, helping that person integrate into your family and home as well. That could be up for you here as well. Now, it could be a literal home too, where maybe you've taken on a new home, and there's always some issues that come up when you buy a home. And they come up at this time, and you just have to deal with them. It doesn't mean they can't be dealt with well, right? Especially with that new moon on the 17th of April affecting your home. There's a lot of activity there too, so there's a lot of potential to get things resolved. You just have to kind of put the effort into it to get them resolved, and use maybe other people to take action on your behalf. Now, positively, you've got Jupiter in your opposite sign of Cancer. That's super positive too for you. Your partner could be doing very well at this time. If you, Capricorn, are in a partnership with regards to like a business partnership, there could be a lot of good things coming your way here. Beneficial people, that's Jupiter. Just nice benefits, including money. Expansion maybe of a business partnership could happen too. Now, there may be some Capricorns that decide to either get engaged or married at this time, or they may be meeting a potential marriage partner, because Jupiter, traditionally in the 7th house, does favor marriage, and therefore, by association, a marriage partner. So that's very encouraging. And that lasts right the way through to the end of June. All right, take care of yourself, Capricorn. So Aquarius, this is generally speaking a pretty good month for you. You have your 9th and 3rd houses that are being aspected. So when we look at that full moon in Libra, you have a trine formed with your 9th house. This really says, wow, you could be wrapping up some international travel at this time, whether it's for pleasure or maybe for the job that you do, your career. It could also be a time for some Aquarians where they are coming back from living in a foreign country, and they come back to their original homeland. For others, this could see you wrapping up an advanced degree, wrapping up a legal matter of some sort too. And that legal matter could be something as simple as putting your will together, right? And you finally put the stamp on it, say, finally got that all finished. When we look at that new moon that is in Aries, well, that sextiles you and involves your 3rd house. So this really does encourage any kind of opportunities for writing, for communications of any sort. Nice interactions with your neighbors and or your siblings could be up here as well. Now, there's lots of activity that's going to be in that 3rd house, so it really suggests that in your day-to-day life around that new moon, which is the 17th of April, there's going to be a lot of activity around you everywhere. Lots of communications, because we've got Mercury, Mars, Saturn, and Neptune, and maybe a lot of inspiration happening around you in your day-to-day life at this time, because that is the 3rd house, is going to be positively aspected. You have lots of opportunities here. Lots of opportunities for local travel, lots of opportunities to write, to communicate, maybe to present, maybe all up for you. Now, Pluto during this time will be at about 5 degrees of Aquarius. So if you've got your ascendant or your sun, say, at 5 degrees, you are going to be having this transformational effect of Pluto on you during this month. Nicely, Uranus going into Gemini on the 25th of April trines you and involves your 5th house. So, hey, you could have some unexpected things happening in your love life. Positive things, by the way, because that's a trine. Some Aquarians may find themselves pregnant. That could happen too. A creative project may land in your lap. Now, we're really talking about 0 to 1 degree to have a real effect, right? 0 to 1 degree of Gemini, trining you at 0 to 1 degree of Aquarius. But there are people out there that have that configuration. Yeah, that trining of the 5th house, and that's going to last for quite a few years, even if it's not by exact degree. That 5th house is going to have some really unexpected, surprising things happen. Yeah. And Saturn and Neptune also will be sextiling you too. Yeah, because they're in Aries, they sextile you. So that's like, if you put them both together, Lots of opportunities to make your dreams come true. Exciting times for you in April, Aquarius, so really enjoy those. Bye for now. So Pisces, the big thing for you is we're going to have that Mercury out of shadow on the 9th of April. So any confusing things that you have had happening, with regards to anything to do with communications, computers, cell phones, anything like that, even messages that you've missed come through for you now at the 9th of April. People finally figure out what you were trying to say, especially if you've got something like, say, your sun or your ascendant around 22 degrees of Pisces. Things are going to be totally cleared up at this time, and you move forward with it. Now we look at that full moon in Libra. That is in your 8th house. And so this suggests there may be some legal wrap-up with regards to maybe you selling off some of your shares. You may decide to stop investing in something as well, because this is a full moon. You may, I'm just thinking, generally speaking, you could just wrap up some legal association with something to do with an investment. It could also be something to do with, I'm thinking, like, say for those folks that are retiring, where you have to now access all those things, the money that you need. So this could be your 401k, it could be a pension, all that type of thing. You finally put everything in place so that you can now have things coming in for you as you stop working. Now that new moon that is in Aries is in your 2nd house. So there's going to be some Pisces that take up a new job at this time, or at least access a new source of income. It can also see a big rise in your value, because this 2nd house is going to be extremely active with so many planets in Aries at this new moon. And, Aries is new starts, movement forward, leadership. And I mean, that is the thing that could be presented to you, where you are presented with leadership opportunities. And boy, are you going to be busy earning money. And I'm thinking for those Pisces that have their own business, this could have this off the charts with people clamoring to pay you money to do whatever it is they want you to do. Super positive for you. Yeah, your value could definitely go up around that 17th of April. And certainly if you're looking to start a new job, that would be a great time to start it. All right, so like I mentioned, Mercury is now direct, so communications, the veils will be lifted off the confusion, and you'll be able to move forward with whatever it is that has been kind of either in the shadows or confusing for you. Now you're still entertaining the north nodes in your sign for a little while longer, into around the end of July. They're around that 7-8 degree mark of Pisces. So if you've got your sun or your ascendant around that, you're going to have a positive hit here with those transiting north nodes. Conjunct them and really setting off some positive stuff with regards to your destiny path, right? Take care, Pisces. All right, folks. Well, that's it for me and April. I hope you've enjoyed this video. As always, I love to do your chart. If you'd like me to do it for you, send me an email to begin with. You can pay for my services. Everything is below in terms of the links. I'm wishing everyone a happy time with a busy month, because I think it's going to be a busy month. But it's kind of like the beginning of spring, as certainly in the Northern Hemisphere, with all the flowers popping up and the birds tweeting around. Sending everybody lots of love and positive energy to, let go of what you need to let go and embrace those new things that are going to be out there with that whole big influence of Aries. Take care and bye for now.